Robbie Gordon continues to engineer a 190-mile-an-hour freight train around Talladega. Gordon has now led 43 laps. He's led 4 times as he holds off Mike Wallace's Ford. Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday, pole sitter Clint Boyer, and outside front row starter Michael Waltrip.
Obviously, they're trying to get up there to him, but a couple times he's fallen back. He's worked his way right back into the lead. That's a strong automobile today.
Now, Larry, we've had 2 cautions for debris and for a slow car, none due to contact, but the pit stops that have been made will probably not allow anybody to go to the distance.
No, they were on pit road, most all of them at lap 47.
Nemechek again got a boot from Junior and almost lost it.
Junior is wearing him out. He's pushing him into turns, and I know he knows better.
That'll take your breath.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Joe was saying the same thing. Hey, man.
Well, I mean, we were talking earlier. That's like bump drafting in the corner, and that don't work.
No, you can't do that. You got to be pretty much going in a straight line, or else you're going to get a guy in trouble. Look at Mike Wallace jump up there on the outside, but I don't think that's going to work.
So, Larry, you catch my breath there. Whoa.
It's getting, you know, so all of a sudden it's gotten real. Is there something going on we don't know about?
Yeah, they keep telling them the race is getting shorter to the end, I think is what it is.
And we were talking about the fact that we'll probably need one more pit stop.
And we just saw a piece of, I think we may have saw debris come off of a car right there. But yeah, these guys were on pit road about lap 47. They needed to go to about lap 62 to 67 to be able to make it to the end.
There's Junior getting Nemechek way out of shape.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, if there's debris, it came from Nemechek, be my guess.
Well, let's see from Dale Jr.'s onboard camera.
Just gets into him off the corner here a little too hard. They are making time. They're headed to the front, but bam, man.
Little piece of body work there.
I think that's the part that someone just ran over it. It's not there anymore.
Mike Wallace got the lead in all that, and Michael Waltrip got the front spot on the inside row in the 99.
Probably looks like he's pushing up a little bit in the middle of the corner, Larry. Can't keep it right down on that bottom, on that yellow line like he had been.
See where that piece of debris came from.
Ooh, there she goes. We've got more stuff flying around today.
Is that again part of the patch on Kyle Busch's car? It was right in that area.
It was right in that area of those cars.
Look like it.
Yeah, it came from the first, second, or third row right there.
Take great shots by our Fox cameraman, but at 190 miles an hour, it's hard to tell.
And you know, as I watched Joe Nemechek in the 87 car and Greg Biffle in the 60, that back up there battling in the top 5 or 6, it wasn't but about 4 or 5 laps to go. They were just barely in the top 20 once again. That's the product of this aero package. You can go back, but you can come back to the front.
And it's all a timing thing. You got to start thinking about way before the race gets down near the end. Where am I going to be when they put the white flag out?
Clear high.
Dale Jr. in the 81 has gone way to the top of the racetrack. That gives room for 4 wide racing. Here's Johnny Sauter.
Oh, did he get out of the throttle, Mike? He had to get out for Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, you can run 4 wide through the corner, but that's just a little bit narrow. And I think we know where the debris came from right there. Johnny Sauter, the 27 car, that right side window is gone. And they're going to black flag him. They will not let him stay out there without that, with the window being gone. There it is right there. That's what we saw on the backstretch a while ago. Couldn't really figure out where it came from.
So Sauter will have to pit and have that replaced if he's going to continue. That's that side glass is in there for safety reasons if the car gets sideways to prevent it from getting airborne. Here comes Robbie Gordon back to the top side, back for the lead.
They shake him out of the lead, but it doesn't take him long to get right back up there. He has really got a fine car today.
But it's the same car he had at Daytona that he ran in the top 5 all day long. You know, just going back to Johnny Sauter's dilemma, most of the major teams have a spare right side window in the pits, but if they don't, I guarantee you they're scrambling right now trying to find one.
Sauter up in the high groove, unable to get down to the bottom of the racetrack to pit. As we completed 75 laps, and Kyle Busch. We're about to find out if that car can run out front with that big gaping hole in the nose.
I don't think it's gaping as bad as we think. That piece they put on there, just pretty nice repair job. You can see how much is just open a little bit right there in the center. They must have been planning on that problem.
Hey, he got quite a shove by Mike Wallace in the 4 car. Michael Waltrip in the 99 down the backstretch that time going into turn 3. You don't want to get too big a lead there, Kyle. Those guys do what they did to Kenny Wallace a while ago.
Yeah, inhale you.
That's pretty impressive. He restarted back there in about 28th spot and worked his way all the way through that traffic and into the lead.
Here comes the side window. A crewman had to run back to the garage area and get it. Kept in its protective case, and it'll be ready for duty.
They had it with them. It just wasn't in the pits.
.38 laps to go in the Aaron's 312 at Talladega for NASCAR's Busch Series. Martin Truex Jr. leading Joe Nemechek by officially 1/10 of a second. Robbie Gordon, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch led a bit ago, asking us to wonder who is the only driver who won their first Busch Series start at Talladega. There are 10 of them making their first start today. Who did it? Isn't the answer to every question Mark Martin?
That would be my guess, but Larry, I already know the answer, so you
I didn't see that in the book.
Greg Sacks.
Greg Sacks, yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
And just to update you on Johnny Sauter, he is almost 2 laps down. He's back on the racetrack, but I think they are black flagging him again. They don't like the way that window has to be in there a certain way. It has to be inset, and you can't just stick it across the outer edge of it. So he's going to have to be back to pit road.
Yeah, there's enough air pressure differential between the side of the car and the cockpit that if you just tried to tape it in there, it'd blow right back out and cause a safety problem.
And this will be a big hit for Johnny because he did come into the race 7th in the Busch Series points.
And we've got us another leader up there. I don't think Nemechek's led all day, and he's leading the race right now.
You know, we're riding with Ashton Lewis Jr., the 46 car here, as you see Kenny Wallace in the 23 go by him, but that car right in front of him, that's Steve Grissom in the 36 car. Now, even though Steve lives in the North Carolina area, this is his home racetrack. He's one of the only Alabama game that exists right now, his hometown in Gadsden, and he grew up racing just across the street from Talladega at the Talladega short track, the dirt track over there. Good run for Steve, though. Ricky Pearson looking after that car as the crew chief.
Yep, former Busch Series champion.
The DCT, which stands for Dreams Come True. Number 36, white and blue. There's Grissom 17th on the right of your screen. On the inside, behind the orange, 21 of pole sitter Clint Boyer.
You know, I mentioned that car right behind him, Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 car. He has someone new helping him. We talked about Paul Andrews. Now coming over to Casey Kane, James Ince, who was the crew chief for Johnny Benson on the 10 car on the Cup Series. He's helping this group out. Remember, James Ince almost won the Daytona 500 with Johnny Benson not that many years ago.
Mike Wallace to the inside, pulling down on Joe Nemechek, our leader. The 9th time Nemechek has led a Busch race here at Talladega. Jeannie.
Well, gentlemen, wasn't it just a handful of laps back that we were asking if anything was wrong with Nemechek? And there wasn't, quite honestly. The way they would explain it in the 87 pit, just the way the deck shuffled for him this time, and he got bounced back. It's Talladega. He has a great car. He came in at the pit stop, and they made no adjustments. Gave him 4 scuffs. Very pleased with the car. I guess Nemechek's biggest problem here today, he doesn't have any friends. Everybody knows how successful he has been here, so they can't find anybody to work with him to help get him up to the front and then maybe keep him up at the front.
Robbie Gordon's got a friend. It's lean on me, brother. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he leaned on Gordon's rear bumper all the way down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he leaned him right back into the lead.
Dick Berggren.
We'll see how long that lasts, Mike, because Junior had to pull out of the tightness that he was running before, because when he's right on another car's bumper for too many laps, the engine gets hot. So he had to back out. That put him a little bit back. The engine cooled down, and now he's getting aggressive again and moving forward.
And you saw that closing rate I was talking about. Dale Jr. caught Robbie Gordon and just shot by him on the outside, and that's the burst of speed you get with this.
Got one looking outside.
Ron Hornaday.
Got a nose on your quarter
outside
panel.
Pole sitter. He's back in the mix here.
And that's what happens again with this aero package. You go to the back, and then you work your way back to the front. That's why some of the drivers complained about it, but it makes exciting racing.
But when they completed the lap before this one, he came across the line in 7th. He led that lap.
20 lead changes today. The most in a Busch Series race here, 30 in 1994. Now, before this was the Busch Series, back in 1979, there were 40 lead changes here at Talladega.
We may have that many today if we keep going like we are.
A great competitive and so far safe race here at Talladega. One pit stop to come before we complete the 312 miles. And trouble on the right front. Donnie Neuenberger.
He had some right front damage. I saw him go by earlier.
Caution is out, so that'll pretty much put the pit strategy out of the equation because everyone certainly will be able to make it from this pit stop. I think the question will be, we may see some teams try just 2 right side tires since everybody changed 4 tires on that last pit stop.
The free pass will go to Kim Crosby, number 51, one of 2 women drivers in the race. Tina Gordon is the other. That's the first car 1 lap down at the moment of caution.
We get a pit stop out of the way.
And Donnie Neuenberger has put us under caution for the 3rd time today. The Aaron's 312 on Fox is brought to you by Aaron's. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. By DuPont Car Care Products. And by Taco Bell, where you can spice up the night. I think that should be, that's how we boogity.
Boogity.
But, you know, they didn't ask us. Pit road is closed under this 3rd caution caused by Donnie Neuenberger hitting the wall with the right front of his number 77. Ron Hornaday is our leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joe Nemechek, Martin Truex, Robbie Gordon, as they'll come around and look for the final pit stop of the day. Dick Bergman?
Junior just keyed his radio and told the crew, those gauges sure are funny. There was a pause in the action and the crew said, what do you mean they look funny? He said, I ain't never seen gauges point that far down before. Running hot when he's running behind people, so they're going to tear a piece of tape off Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nose, try to cool that car down so he can run up close to other people.
And in the heat today, they've allowed each team an extra man over the wall to service the driver.
These extra laps is just giving those crew chiefs a little more time to think about, do I want to try 2 here or do I want to do 4 and be safe?
Well, crew chief, what do you want to do?
I believe with no more laps than we've had, if I've got a good handling race car, I may try 2, but those cars that's been loose, I don't think they can get by with 2. They need to change 4. I know what my driver wants.
I'm not leaving until I get 4, so you better make it quick.
All right, here they come to pit road. Let's start with Jeannie.
Well, Joe Nemechek's crew chief, Brian Patty, made his decision minutes ago, guys, as soon as the caution came out that they would indeed go with 4 tires. He's had a great car all day. He's called for a nice stop, nothing crazy, business as usual, and minimal fuel and the 4 stickers, the brand new tires. Get yourself a good drink. Steve?
Ron Hornaday and Jeannie, they've talked about right side tires only, and that's it. 2 tires. Matt?
Steve, a 4-tire change expected for Robbie Gordon. No adjustments. Michael Waltrip was talking about 2. They're going 4, Dick.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s regular Nextel Cup team is pitting this car today with the exception of the Jackman. Brian Chase replaces Kevin Pinnell. 4 tires, fueled, no changes whatever with the chassis. They got the tape off, but Casey Atwood got in front of Junior as he was trying to get out, and that slowed his exit from the pits.
Of the contenders, Ron Hornaday and Robbie Gordon, along with Martin Truex, got the best exit off pit road.
Yeah, and the big deal there is the 2 car got 2 tires. Robbie got 4 tires.
And what I do believe is David Green in the 37 and Robert Presley in the 47 still on the lead lap. It appears, by the way, they came off pit road. They probably changed just 2 right side tires as well.
I just don't, you know, with this aero package, I mean, you can pass. I'd get me 4 fresh tires.
Collision on pit road. Mike Wallace, and here comes Casey Kane out, tips into the back of Wallace. All that does is square up Kane and he gets going. Meanwhile, a tire gets away from one crew.
It's not my tire.
Be hard finding somebody that will claim it.
They just leave it laying out there.
Mike Harmon, I believe. And the hood's been up on Kenny Wallace's car. Dick Bergman?
Well, the reason the hood has been up on Kenny Wallace's car, Mike, is that he has been overheating. In fact, the crew pulled a little water exchanger toward the front of the pit road area so they could exchange some of the hot water in that radiator for some cool water. Wallace had been running up in the front until that thing started to overheat. He was forced to have to pick a line of his own way up high, drop back. Now they're just trying to save the engine.
Things get hot, and it's going to get hotter when these cars get together and battle for the lead. Less than 30 laps to go, 29 cars on the lead lap at Talladega.